You are important. The work that you do is important. Your department touches every citizen from cradle to grave in a meaningful and tangible way. The work that you and your team members collectively do make a significant impact in the quality of life of the citizens that you serve. You see, you provide the infrastructure, the framework, the platform for community to happen. There wouldn't be a civil 21st century society without you. Now, truth be told, I didn't always understand that. Truth be told, like millions of citizens, I had no idea what you did. Truth be told, I had no clue. I drove on the road, I turned on the water, the snow got removed, no big deal. When emergency occurred, I just thought it was police and fire that showed up first. But then I started to realize, I started to learn. How did you do that? Well, I started to have some success in business, so I started to get involved philanthropically in my community. Started helping to open schools and build playgrounds and did all kinds of cool things in my own community. And then started to do that all across the United States and beyond. Life had been good to me, and to whom much is given, much is required. So I started to learn everything I could about this thing called community. I started to learn everything I could about this thing called society. Now, truth be told, I'm not the sharpest pencil in the box, nor the brightest bulb in the chandelier. People always ask me, did you go to college? I say, sure enough, I walk through there on my way to work every day. So I'm not the sharpest pencil. But I started to do an exploration of history. I wanted to know what the keys were to having a great community. And you know what I came to find? You were one of the keys. As I looked at Athens, ancient Greece, as I looked at Rome, as I looked at the Dutch, as I looked at the Spanish, as I looked at the English, as I looked at what historians said were all of the great societies and communities, Periclean Athens, Elizabethan England, Louis France, the United States, you know what the one key thing consistently was? Great infrastructure and great public servants. People like you. So as I look across the challenges of my own community and of our society all across the United States, I know that one of the keys to our success and our future and continued success is great infrastructure, a great platform for community to happen. And who's the key to that? You. So over the last 2 years, I've put my time and energy and resources into championing the public works professional, into working with literally thousands of public works professionals all across North America. To do what? To one, explain to them their value and importance. Two, challenge them to act like it. Plato said this. Plato said that there was no greater life lived than that committed to public service. Thousands of citizens are counting on you to be great at what you do, counting on your department to be great at what you do. And not just this generation, but the generation to come. You have a generational impact. There's a poem that I think is appropriate in these changing and challenging times. Because the reality is, as I speak to you, and as you listen to this, some of your departments are in flux. With budget challenges and the winds of change, many of your departments are in flux. We don't know what tomorrow may bring. So I think that this poem is appropriate for this time. It's a poem by Helen Keller. It goes like this. I am only one, but I am one. I can't do everything, but I can do something. That which I can do, I ought to do, and that which I ought to do, I will do. In these changing times, it's easy to look around and say, hey, I'm only one guy. Or, hey, I'm only one gal. What can I possibly do? We turn on the TV, we listen to the radio, we open up the newspaper. It's very easy to feel like I'm only one. And yet, the author of that poem, the girl who was blind and deaf and who could not speak, she put a comma and she wrote, but I am one. I believe in the power of the human potential. I believe in the professionals that I've met as I've traveled the country. You have operational knowledge, you have vocational expertise. You know your jobs well. You have within you the idea, the insight, the wisdom to create something new, to innovate. But do you believe it? Interestingly enough, 70 billion people have lived on this planet, and there's nobody like you. There's never been anybody like you. There'll never be anybody like you. Well, what does that mean, Ian? Well, what that means is that you're special, that you have talent and ability. There's no computer in the world that can touch your brain. There's enough energy within you, light a small city. But do you believe that? Today, we need people that can believe that tomorrow will be better than it was yesterday. Those of you that work in the public sector, those of you that work in public works, believing that tomorrow will be better than it was yesterday. I am only one, but I am one. I can't do everything, but I can do something. Hey, Ian, get off my back. I can only do so much. What more do you want from me? Well, I can understand that. I can understand when you turn on the TV, listen to the radio, and public servants and public employees are getting bashed at every turn. I can understand that, but here's what I know. I know that you can't do everything, but you can do something. Choice. What's the choice that you'll make in the coming days, weeks, and months? Remember I talked a moment ago about your importance and your value and the critical nature of your work? Will we choose to have a positive attitude when we come into the workplace? Will we choose to offer up an innovative idea? Will we choose to support a fellow employee? Will we choose to work with one another to create something special? See, all of those are choices. What will we choose to do? I am only one, but I am one. I can't do everything, but I can do something. That Helen Keller was telling us we couldn't do it all. She couldn't do it all. I can't do it all. You can't do it all. But we can choose to do something. Here's my challenge for you. Over the next 30 days, pick out one thing, just one thing, and try to do it a little bit better for 30 days. Can you imagine if everybody in your department did that? Picked out one thing and tried to do it a little bit better? I am only one, but I am one. No, I can't do everything, but I can do something. That which I can do, I ought to do, and that which I ought to do, I will do. Responsibility. I can't do everything, but I can do something. That which I can do, I ought to do. Responsibility. As I speak, we face challenges from without, and we face challenges from within. And the only way that we can possibly take on those challenges is that each individual grabs a hold of our responsibility and walks it out to its utmost. Responsibility is a difficult thing. And frankly, there's probably quite a lack of it in some aspects of society today. But as I travel the country, I see thousands of professionals who walk out their responsibility each and every day. They put in a little bit of energy, a little bit of effort, a little bit of time beyond their job description. They live out the spirit of their job description and not the letter. Responsibility. A responsibility to myself, a responsibility to my family, a responsibility to my community to be the best that I can be. There are no passengers on this ship called freedom. We all must grab an oar and row. I am only one, but I am one. I can't do everything, but I can do something. That which I can do, I ought to do. And that which I ought to do, I will do. Commitment. Commitment. You know the difference between involved and committed? It's like a chicken and a pig in a bacon and egg breakfast. The chicken is involved. The pig is committed. Crazy, right? What's that chicken do? That chicken, they just lay an egg and move on. What's that pig do? They give their all. As I've gone from department to department, from municipality to municipality, from hamlet to hamlet, you know what I found? I've found committed professionals that put in 20, 25, and 30 years of their lives to the betterment of their community. And this week we should celebrate that. We should celebrate that commitment. They're all pigs, every one. Any of you remember any words from the Declaration of Independence? We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. They're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those are great words, and yet they're not the words that made the document last till today. It was the final words of the Declaration of Independence that made it special. It goes something like this. We mutually pledge to one another our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. You see, 56 men signed that document. 56 men signed that document, and they said, we'll give our all to this cause. Now, when the king heard of what they did, History tells us that he said this, find the 56 men and hang them. Find their land and burn it to the ground. Find their family and imprison them forever. Now, why would he do that? Because as a king, you can't have people running around declaring their independence and committing all they have to it. He said, find them and hang them. Why do you think they all signed so small? But there was one guy. There was one guy that signed big and bold. What was his name? That's right, John Hancock. And legend has it that he said this, now the king doesn't need his glasses to know my name. You know, in a way, that's kind of the spirit of public works. A find a way, make a way attitude. A rugged individualism that says we can get the work done. In today's day and age, we've got to come together and work collectively in that spirit to find a way, make a way. Take that rugged individualism and bring it together in unity for a team that can do something dynamic, innovative, and creative in your communities. The things that won the battle behind us may not be the skills and abilities and talents and the things that will win the battles before us. Commitment. As we celebrate public works, I celebrate all of those committed professionals that have put in 20, 25, and 30 plus years into giving their all to building a platform, maintaining a platform, designing a platform for community to happen. I'm only one, but I am one. I can't do everything, but I can do something. That which I can do, I ought to do. And that which I ought to do, I will do. As I was thinking about sending out this message, I had to boil it all down. And what was the essence that I wanted to get across? And I guess it would just be this. Thank you. I didn't understand your value and worth in the past, but as I did an exploration of history, and as I've now traveled the country, I realize you're critical to our society. You touch every citizen in a meaningful way from cradle to grave. The tough part is, maybe not everybody gets it, and they probably never will, because you work quietly in the background, ensuring that civil society can occur. But there's one guy out in the wilderness who just wanted to send you a message and say, thank you. Thank you for all your dedication. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for your commitment. And not only thank you for what you've done, but thank you for the great things that you'll do to take on the challenges that we face today. Thank you, and good luck. Take care, everybody.